Brother Dewaun Hanna, otherwise known as DJ Needle.
Needle 914.
Sorry, what was that?
It's DJ Needle 914.
DJ Needle 914.
DJ Needle's cool.
Also known as Junior Warden of Windsor Lodge. I gotta go. Shoot, I should have grabbed I think I still got a couple bottles of your homemade beer with the Masonic label.
Oh yeah, I got another batch. When we go back, I'm gonna have another special batch of homemade beer. Not sure what kind I'm gonna make yet for, but I'm gonna have another batch or two ready. I actually have a coffee batch fermenting now, and then I got a Mexican cerveza that's fermenting. They're both in secondary phase of fermenting. I got a wine too.
If only I drank, because I love coffee. So if there's ever something that would get me drinking beer, it would be
coffee beer. Yeah. I got the coffee beer. It's the first go around, I couldn't keep. I mean, literally, it went like in 2 days, and I didn't even get a chance to taste it. Everybody's, oh, let me try it. It was gone quick. I actually brewed it from a coffee in the States from a guy I know. I used to work with for him in his magazine called the Promoter Magazine. He has his own coffee out called Ooh Wee Coffee. So I used that coffee, and from what I'm hearing, it was good. Now the other one's been fermenting, the secondary fermenting for a while, so it's going to be kind of good.
Well, to any Windsor Lodge people listening in, another reason to come back in September is Dewaun Hanna will have some coffee and sriracha flavored beer.
Yeah, and I have a couple of bottles of wine I made too.
Wow, if that's not a reason to come back to Lodge in September.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
And your mother lodge is Livonia Lodge United.
Yep, Livonia United 152, Grand Lodge, Michigan. Yes, indeed.
We talked a bit about it before this started, but how is the border closing, or not closing, but only restricted travel affecting you? Because you've got family and friends and brothers in Michigan, in the States.
Mm-hmm.
You live in Windsor now, right? You do travel back and forth. So how's it been affecting you? Are you able to keep in touch with the Livonia guys and family, and how's that all going?
Actually, they have a Zoom call every Wednesday. Social, not actual official meeting or anything like that. So I really only attended 3 because I usually work between those times. I work 10-hour shifts Monday to Thursday, so I can't really join and be in the meeting. But I actually haven't physically been in a lodge meeting there since last year because of my job. I work 10 hours a day. So it was great to see him on the Zoom call. It was great. We talked. They say, hey, how's Canada going? Some of them play around like, oh, you sold out America to go live in Canada. I'm like, well, hey, it is what it is. You get married and move where your wife is.
Those Canadian girls, Yeah.
Hey, my wife take care of me great. See this Masonic hat? She bought me that. She bought me all my Masonic stuff. Even I have to show this off here. I have this you can read it here. This big quilt she got me. Can you see it?
Some call it a secret society. I call it family, I'm guessing.
Yeah, and then you read at the bottom here. I don't know if you can.
Very cool. We got it. But I call them family.
Nice. Yeah. So she got me that. I got sweaters. I actually got a Go Watch. I don't think I have it. Go Watch down here. Hold on. Nope, I don't have the Go Watch she got me. But
I mean, I understand it. My my dad is from England, and he met a Canadian girl, and then he moved to so Canadian girls, that's what they do. Get people to move away from home.
Yeah.
And we're in Canada.
That's what happens as soon as you meet a Canadian girl. Hey, I'm in Canada. That's what happens. But special. Thanks my wife. She's always buying all Masonic stuff for me. So.
Well, thank you very much well done to your wife supporting the Masons. Much appreciated. All the Masonic wives out there who support Masonry and support what we do. And I
Oh
was
yeah, especially the Shriner events that, you know, because I'm a Shriner too, and she's like all the, you know, the social events we go to, she's always there, especially our meat raffle that we have in Michigan. It's, you know, our meat raffle is wonderful. Yes, you guaranteed to win something. You come there with an empty cooler and you leave with it full. And as long as I get some bacon, I don't care about anything else. Just bacon. I'm loving it.
that I concur completely. I support. I mean, any meat is good, but bacon.
Bacon. Like, I really don't mess with pork too much, but I'm sorry. To me, bacon ain't pork. It's just bacon. It's its own category. Bacon.
It's just wonderful, is whatever it is.
Yes.
We're speaking of the, you know, Masonic wives and families and stuff. We're recording this. Father's Day is coming up on the 18th, so about a week and a bit. And I interviewed my dad for that podcast to talk about Masonic fathers, but I realized I should probably next year definitely do a Masonic Mother's Day podcast, talk to all the wives and moms of Masons out there who support us.
Yes, yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great. I know my wife would probably be down for something like that. She would, you know, give her intake on how it is to be a Masonic wife. You know, I've been trying to get her like the, you know, join Eastern Stars, but you know, it's nothing in Windsor, and they asked her in Detroit, and it was like, well, don't know how that'll work out, but I'm not sure where the closest Eastern Star is in Windsor.
Okay. Or Essex.
Essex. Oh, okay. Well, ain't that far. She got a car now, so.
I always, in my opinion, not that I'm married or anything, the most dangerous speech you can give at a Masonic function or like toast is the toast to the ladies. Because if you mess that up, not only are you in trouble, but you've got every Mason in that room in trouble when they go home too.
Ooh.
I have to say, if you give a bad toast to the ladies, you got everybody mad at you all at once.
Ooh, yeah, yes indeed, yes indeed. Be careful, guys. Be careful. Oh, that's the camera right there. Be careful.
Yes, don't mess that up, because we all got it. We all suffer. Everybody who's married or brings a date suffers if that one goes wrong.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yep, indeed. I know. You know, every event she's ever been with, you know, kind of Masonry or even Shriner, especially, she's even helped me volunteer when in Livonia Lodge we do the every year the Livonia Spree. So it's like a big carnival, huge, and we do the child ID program. She's right there helping.
It's great to have support, you know, supportive family, and that's kind of what you need, right? That's what you need to make everything work, is supportive family, just in life in general.
Oh yeah, yep, yes indeed. So yeah.
So what's going on? Tell me about you know, you and I actually didn't meet through Masonry. You and I met through well, your music and my comedy back in the day. You put on a show at Fog Lounge.
Villains. It was Villains. Actually, we met before then. We actually met at Villains when you and Squeaky Wills was doing a show. And I'm like, okay, these guys, what are they about to do, a show? And you said, write something random on a piece of paper. I remember that. I'm not sure how the skit ended. And what got me was like, these guys are about to do musical chairs? Like, what the, hold on, huh? And I was like, I didn't know how to react. And y'all did it. And it was like, y'all made it funny. And it was like, wow, these guys have a disability, but they made it funny and interesting, and they made it good. And you guys, when you guys do y'all skits, comedy together, it just works. And just like, well, these guys need to be professionals, literally out there, because these guys are wonderful at what they're doing together. But I remember the show that I put you on was a fundraiser, I believe, for street help. It was a variety show I put on at Village. It's probably like a few months later after that I put it on. And then at the time, I didn't know you was a Mason at all, because this is when I was a, you know, interim apprentice at in Livonia. And I was just, you know, once you become a Mason, you just start researching everything. Like, where's the lodges? Well, I'll be in Windsor a lot. And I started researching Windsor Lodges, and then I just noticed I saw something familiar. I'm like, hold on a second. That's the guy that was at Villains. So that's when I found out you was a Mason, and then we met up and talked about it. And I think by the time we met up at Villains, you know, for a drink or something, because I know you weren't drinking beer, you was drinking pop, and I was drinking beer. And you would tell me you would say, hey, you know what? You come to visit my lodge, this, that, and other, and I was still a fellow craft. But in Michigan, they was like, nah, you can't go until you're a master Mason. I was like, but he said I go. He's like, nah, who's gonna vouch for you that you're a Mason? You don't have a dues card, and I don't know if any of us is going over there anytime soon. So I couldn't visit the Canadian Lodge until I became a Master Mason.
That's one of the, I think, one of the major differences between American lodges and Canadian lodges is the different levels of responsibility in terms of your degrees. You know, in Canadian lodges, at least the ones in Ontario, you know, you're involved in all aspects of the lodge. You can be right from when you get your entered apprentice degree. Whereas in the States, like I said, until you're a Master Mason, you're not really visiting or attending business meetings or things like that. I always tell the story. I joined in October of 2017, and my very next business meeting, it was our elections for the following year. So I had been a Mason. I had attended precisely one meeting, my initiation, and the next meeting I'm voting for the officers for the next year. I had no idea what I was doing. I sat next to Tom Offit. He would tell me what to do. What do you think about that difference? And do you have a preference? Because I've heard people argue that it's better to throw entered apprentices in the deep end right away, give them responsibility. And I've heard people say it's better to, you know, make them get all 3 degrees before they can attend a business meeting. Do you have any opinions, or having gone through both yourself, or kind of being, you know, members of both the Canadian and American Lodge?
Well, I know in the States, well, my lodge, I know we as an apprentice were allowed to attend the business meeting, but they will only open that degree. So there was an apprentice, they will open an EA, and then if there was fellow crafts, and they will open the fellow craft degree for business. But even I think they would even vote too, but certain things that they would, you know, kick us out. I know proficiency, they would like kick us out, so they'll vote, and then go up to the master masonry and bring it back down to the fellow craft or an apprentice. Because that's what, you know, when I did my proficiency, which proficiency's done totally different. Totally different. You know, that's another subject to talk later, but I think it was kind of weird because I remember seeing Elijah, he was like voting. I'm like, I looked at him like, you're only an apprentice, you're voting? He's like, yeah. I'm like, really? Because I know as in you only can vote as a master mason in the States. But I was, you know, it was just like, threw me off. And there was a lot of differences too. And, you know, even sitting in the Junior Warden chair, you know, I had to catch myself on saying a couple of American things versus, you know, Canadian things. Witness that too, voting. So, yeah, it's a difference. And I think it's cool that, you know, an apprentice can, you know, vote in the Canadian Lodge. That's cool. Not mad at it.
What are some of the things that struck you about, you know, your first time visiting the Windsor Masonic Temple, or, you know, visiting lodges in Canada, as compared to the States, or just in general? What are some things that struck you about visiting?
Well, there's things different. Our signs are different, and I remember. I don't forget who was the worship master at the time. It was, I know you was sitting as a senior warden, and they were like, you know, hey, do your own signs. And I'm looking at everybody like, what are they doing? And I'm like, whoa. And then the grand honors were like, whoa. Because certain things, like in the States, like our installation is open to the public. And here, it's not open to the public. That's straight up closed off. No, certain events are open to the public. I did attend one installation, and well, the installation at my lodge, they actually open the lodge regularly, and then they put the lodge to rest, then they open it, and then they close it with everybody in there, but they don't do any signs or anything. Just close it regularly. I know when I visit another lodge, they were doing the installation. They didn't do it open. They just say, "Hey, do the installation." They just did the installation. That was it. So I mean, I guess each lodge in the state does things different, but though it's totally different in Canada.
So why did you decide to join Masonry? What got you interested in it? Was it advertised in Michigan when you joined?
No, this is. I'll give you the whole entire story. I'll just put it out there. So back in 1990, it was further than that, but I'm really not going to count that. It was in 97 or 98. I wanted to be a Mason. My uncle, who was Prince Hall, he was a past master, and my grandfather, his father, was a Mason. I really didn't too much know about that, but I knew about it, but I really wasn't really thinking about that back then. So my uncle, I was like, "Yeah, I want to be a Mason," because my grandmother told me to ask him. And so I asked him, like, "Hey, I want to be a Mason." So he took me to this car wash in Detroit, because he lived out of state. And he told me, he took me to this car wash. The guy who owned the car wash was I guess he was the Grand Master at the time. I'm not sure. He was one of the well-respected Masons, Prince Hall Masons in Detroit. And he wasn't there at the time, but he told me to follow up with him, keep going, because he wants to be a Mason, this, that, and other. So as years went on, I forgot about it. I didn't forget about it, just wasn't, I was worried about DJing, working, girls, partying, and all that. So an event that used to go on in Windsor, the Emancipation Celebration, the guy who ran it, I asked him, like, "So you're a Mason?" "I want to be a Mason." So I actually was going to put a petition in to be Prince Hall in Windsor. So I'm not sure what happened with Windsor. I guess something happened to the building. They moved out in Harrow and everything, so that didn't go through. So he told me to talk to my cousin, who was Prince Hall. I think Lodge Tyree 33 or 32. I don't want to mess up their lodge, but in Prince Hall. So my best friend Tyrone, that I went to junior high school, and you met him. He was like, "Hey man, listen, why don't you come over to meet us at Livonia?" But at the time, before it was Livonia United 152, we were actually Thomas S. Hughes 574, because we consolidated twice. So he was like, "Yo, come meet with us." I met with him. And I was like, these guys are kind of cool. Okay. So I was like, "Yeah, let me get a petition." So I put my petition in, they voted, and I joined Livonia. Well, it was Thomas S. Hughes. And then we consolidated to Livonia 586. And then we consolidated with Redford and became Livonia United 152. But pretty much that's my story of Masonry, how I got in.
And what was it that attracted you to Masonry? Why were you first interested in joining? I know you said you had the family connections and you had.
Yeah.
Was that the primary reason, or is it?
No, it was never the primary. I mean, not really. It wasn't the primary reason, because my family was connected to Masonry. It was something that helped me improve to be a better person. That's what my long-term goal was, that, and it did. Like, I met a lot of great people, helped me get my mind right on things, and and actually helped me start studying better, because you got to learn a lot. And the actual first work I ever done was in Canada. That I remember when you told me, "Hey, you want to do this?" I'm like, "Really? I can do this? Okay." And I'm memorizing. And that wasn't the first work I ever memorized, because I covered a chair in the States of Senior Deacon in the chair. So I covered that, and I had to learn that within like a week. But the actual real work was done in Canada first.
Well, I'm very happy I got the chance to. It was a third degree, wasn't it? It was a degree, I think.
No, it was the first degree.
It seems like it's been forever since I was sitting in the East. Do you have any being a junior warden? I always say that seems to be chair for a lot of guys when they get to junior warden. That's when they start looking to the east more often. They realize, you know, there's only one chair between them and the east. Do you have any advice for guys if they're looking at moving into the junior warden's chair? How to go about it, as being a new junior warden yourself?
First of all, before getting into that chair, if you get voted in that chair, you have a few months to learn how to cook. And if you're married, have your wife help you cook. But other than that, the only advice I can give besides the cooking, just study your work. Just learn and study your work. My cousin, who was a past master, said the way you will learn it is if you know what you're learning and understand it, and that it come better and it come quicker and stick in your head. And that's the only advice I can give, because he was like, when he became when he was like, you know, going through different chairs, he would literally just memorize it, and he would go in the bathroom when he's in the morning brushing his teeth. He would just start just saying it to himself, and you know, every day he would read. He actually said first year he became a master mason, he actually you know, cut himself off from everybody for a whole year and just got deep into masonry. That's why he knows it like a book. And he actually gave me a sheet, you know, not a cheat sheet, but a sheet with everything on it. And it was like, oh, okay, wow, this is really helping.
That is so.
Say one thing about Prince Hall, you gotta know your stuff. You bet. You gotta know your stuff. And I don't want to get too much into Prince Hall, because hopefully you have a show coming with them. I don't know yet.
Send them an email.
I can say this. I've been to, like I told you, I've been in that third degree, and phenomenal work. And phenomenal. Just phenomenal. That's the only thing I can say. It's just, you see their third degree, and it's like, whoa. And Prince Hall really takes their work serious.
Talking about memorizing the work and the importance of memorizing the work, and people, like you said, you know, I did the same thing. I carried a book with me, and I'm in the washroom. You know, best time to study your work seems to be on the toilet. I don't know why, but I seem to memorize all my shit better when I'm taking a shit than any other time. No. But I remember even growing up, I told this story a few times now. My dad worked, he worked day shift, so he'd usually wake up about 6 in the morning or so. While I was still sleeping to get ready for work. And he'd be sitting in the kitchen, and I'd hear him from my bedroom talking to himself as I was waking up. And I used to think my dad was crazy, but that was just him practicing. Well, he's probably is crazy, but that was him practicing his work every morning before he went to his actual job. So yeah, just studying and practicing as much as you can. You're going to get more out of it. And like you said, it's not just, the more you study it, it's not just that you'll know the words, but you'll understand the words. You'll understand what they mean, right? Which is such an important, I think, piece of it.
Yeah, yes, indeed. Like you know, the thing about, I say about Prince Hall, they actually will work with you. They will put you in their classes. They will have study groups and everything. And I know, actually, when I initially put in my first petition, Prince Hall and the States, they were like, okay, you got to write a paper on Prince Hall and who he was and understand who that man was and everything. I'm like, oh, really? Wow. I remember actually writing a paper, but I never actually turned my petition in, because that's when Buddy Tyrone was like, hey, come in, check us out at Grand Lodge in Michigan. I'm like, oh, okay. So, but it's been a great travel so far, and I'm expecting to go further. So, I did do the Scottish Rite, the Valley of Detroit. And after I did that, I went to Shrine, and I love the Shrine. I love it. I actually visited the Shrine in London when it was their ceremony in Stratford, I think. That was fun too. I actually enjoyed myself, and I actually came up on my timeline today. Hold on, because it was last year I went, Let me see if I can pull up this picture real quick. Literally last year, hold on. This is me and my wife at the shrine last year. Hold on, see if we can see a picture.
Omar, nice.
Yeah, Omar. So we went up there, and that was fun. It was different than the shrine in the States. Some of similar things a lot, but it was different. But I so enjoyed it.
My involvement with the shrine, I was so disappointed. Well, not disappointed, but I was so I guess yeah. What happened is my favorite band in the whole world is Leonard Skinner. They are my favorite band, and they came to the casino to play a concert. So I bought tickets, and I go there, and then I'm looking around, and I see Omar there, and then I see oh gosh, Casa Grande. I see all these Masons congregating together. So I go up to them and I say, hey, you guys came as a group. It turned out that the shrine was volunteering there, selling CDs and stuff for like a charitable cause, and they got free tickets. And I was like, this is my favorite band, but I didn't know about didn't know about it. So I had to pay for my ticket. I still got to see a great concert. And the nice thing about it, though, is the next week, Foreigner, I think it was in town at the casino. So I got to go. Omar put me down on the list, so I got to volunteer at that concert. And
Yeah.
So there you go. I got to see Foreigner for free, but I had to pay for.
Foreigner actually made a video for the shrine too, a music video.
Nice.
Because I know after every meat raffle they show a video. I forgot what song it is. Their popular song.
Foreigner is one of those bands that like, you know their songs, but you don't know they're by Foreigner until somebody tells you there's those songs.
Yeah. Yeah, Foreigner's a good group. It's Leonard Skinner. Imagine him playing in the middle of a hip hop club, downtown Windsor, all hip hop crowd, and all of a sudden you play Sweet Home Alabama. What would you think the reaction would be?
People love that song. People would cheer.
They go crazy. It's like, whoa, did he just play that? Like, and he had the guts to play this in front of a hip hop crowd like that? Like, and I played it and they just all loved it. Like, you know, I DJ majority every club downtown Windsor, but like mainly hip hop clubs. But I would play that odd rock or country song out of nowhere, and they're like, did he just play that? And they would go crazy and dance to it.
It's a good music's good music, man. People love Skinner and everything's good, right? I love all music. I'm one of those guys who I normally hate people who answer like when you say what your music you like and they go all music, but I do like all music. Right? I love all
yeah.
Skinner
especially me being a DJ, I have to like all music. And
Skinner is my favorite, but I like it all. I like hip hop and rock, and there's nothing I don't like listening to. That's for sure.
Oh yeah. I definitely like rock, and you know I'm still trying to be a rock star because here's my guitar right here. Still trying to learn how to play it.
We're gonna get you in a band. We'll get you and Brage together.
Oh really? Brage plays the instrument?
I know I don't know if he's proficient, but I know he was trying to learn. Michel Broussard plays guitar.
Okay, yeah. I mean, I got my guitar right here. Because I'm in my recording studio. This is where I actually work for Comcast every day. And when they sent us home, they're like, you need a quiet place. Well, I was like, dang, I do got a quiet place. My recording studio in my house, and it's right here.
Nice. We'll get a little Masonic band together again once. So.
Hey, I guess so. I gotta learn how to play a couple more songs and understand the guitar a little bit better. But I'm down for it.
Are you? I mentioned earlier. You're Junior Warden right now. So that's a quick skip and a jump to the Worshipful Master's chair. Have you thought at all about?
Oh yeah,
Master chair and what you want to do and how you want to proceed as master.
I do, and I think about it all the time and every day, and that's something I most likely probably would do and say yeah. I know I kind of, there's a couple ideas I have that I want to do a little bit different. And I'm not sure. I mean, I'm sure it might be okay. I don't want to talk about it just yet, but a couple things I want to do a little bit different. Hopefully, when it's done this year, next year, or whenever, I think, gonna have to start shaking things up just a tad bit.
Do you think that? How do you think that everything's will affect Masonry? I know a lot of people are expressing concern that with the Masonry is like a habit. The more you attend, the more you attend. But by the same token, if you start to miss meetings, it can be hard to get back into the habit of attending. Do you worry that at this point we're going on, 3 months without a meeting, people will start to drift away from Masonry? Or do you think it'll be the opposite, that people will be so excited for the chance to return to Masonry and just resume contact with people again, and actual, not having to social distance, that you'll see a resurgence in Masonry? I've heard people say both. Do you have any ideas as to what you think will happen?
I don't know yet. I mean, I have a feeling that it could take off and get more people involved, or it can just be like, yeah, I'm too scared of, I don't know. We'll have to see.
And that's true for everything, maybe. Even in your other life as a DJ and with music, how do you see everything affecting clubs? Do you think that once restrictions are lifted, will people be still afraid to go out, or do you think it's just going to blow over?
As you can see now, people are not really afraid. Majority, I think there's a lot of people that ain't scared. And I know I'm scared of it. I'm terrified of it. I believe it's like killing people. And I had family that died from it and got family that has it. Matter of fact, my cousin that was a past master, he had it, but he kind of said he cured himself of it. But people, it's out there, and there's people that are scared. So we just have to wait and see. I'm not gonna lie, I'm terrified of it. So you can ask my wife, she's like, "You're getting a little bit too ridiculous with this, social distance." I'm like, "Yeah, but we don't know them people that's coming up this way. Tell them to stay over there." Like, people come and visit us, but they'll literally stay off the porch. We'll put chairs in the lawn, the driveway. So
it's scary.
Like I was telling you earlier, I'm on restrictions, so I can't leave the house right now. So, I'm not sick or anything, but it's just that you leave the country, you gotta stay in the house for 14 days. So
one of those things. It's just you always hear different information, and you don't know what's going on, and you hear asymptomatic people do spread it, then you hear they don't spread it. Like, it seems that there's always different information coming. So yeah, it's
well, I mean, yeah, there's people that probably have it and not showing any symptoms and won't get sick from it. And then you got people who fully blownly get it. Some don't make it, and some people make it. So it just depends. You just got to be careful.
Definitely interesting times. Do you think you feel like you mentioned Chappelle's most recent special? Like, do you just set up in the lodge, like everybody has to sit so many feet apart? We're not at the stage anymore where we have enough people coming that we could in theory say every 6 seats you have to sit, so nobody can sit next to each other, or socially distance that way.
That's gonna be hard. I mean, if you take the key principal officers, I mean, you should be okay.
That's true. Yeah, the master's sitting a few feet.
I mean, you should be fine. But I mean, I believe there were some lodges open, but there were only 10 that opened the lodge, I think. And it was in Michigan. And I seen a picture, but they had on gloves and masks. And I'm like, yeah, I still probably wouldn't go.
It's a crazy time. I know. I mean, here at the Masonic Temple, we've purchased. We have a whole bunch of hand sanitizers, and we're getting masks. I've got some masks for Harmony Lodge, which is the other lodge I'm a member of, secretary when we come back. So, I mean, who knows what it's going to look like, but it's a very interesting time to be alive, I find.
Yeah. Yeah. 2020 is one heck of a year. This is going down in the history books.
It
60 years
definitely.
from now, they were like, wow, they really was going through some stuff. Well, at least I can go to the pharmacy and get me a Robitussin.
Who knows? Probably. It does feel like that, though. You're right. It feels like 2020 is. It's felt like that for a while. That everything is like moving to something, right? Like it just feels like is that there's a lot of things happening all at once. Felt that way for a little while now.
Yeah, yeah. A quick
Still low.
question, because I know earlier we were talking about, I wanted to touch on a little bit about clandestine masonry. Are there any clandestine lodges in Canada?
Oh, I'm sure. I mean, like when you say clandestine, right? It's just lodges not recognized by.
Yeah.
Yeah. So none that I've ever been known of or been approached by. But that's not to say that they don't. I'm sure they exist, right? There's always a big push amongst Grand Lodge of Canada to recognize or to distinguish between a recognized Masonic Lodge and Grand Lodge and unrecognized,
Okay.
lodge or Grand Lodge. I find in Canada what we get more of is scammers contacting via Facebook, things like that. So they'll find somebody who's a Mason or who has Masonic pictures on their Facebook, and I've got a few messages myself. Right, help, brother! I'm trapped in such and such a place, and I can't get out, and I need you to send me money. And there's enough stuff on the internet, unfortunately, that they kind of know what to say, and they've done a bit of research, so they kind of know how to make it sound like they're legit.
Mm-hmm.
You just have to make sure that when you get one of those messages and it's not somebody that you're able to, you ask them the questions to figure out if it's legitimate or not. Because obviously, I've yet to get one of those Facebook messages and have it be legitimate, but it does.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, somebody years ago was like, "Yeah, man, I'm with Lodge such and such," and I was like, "Well, how old is your grandmother?" Why are you talking about my grandmother? I'm like, "Yeah, you're not legit."
But yeah, that's the trouble I find in Canada is not the clandestine lodges, it's just random people messaging you and trying to use Masonic words and symbolism to
Oh yeah.
scam you. But what about in the States? How do you find clandestine lodges? There's
Oh
a lot
my
of them.
goodness. In Detroit alone, there's so many. It's so many. Um, I'll be and I'll speak on it a little bit. There are a lot that we in Michigan, Grand Lodge of Michigan, North Prince Hall recognize. Some brothers would look at them like, "Oh, you ain't no Mason when we're fighting, argue." I'll keep it civil and I'll talk and I'll keep it social, but we will not have any Masonic discussion at all. I'm not gonna just like throw you under the bus and flick boogers at you or anything like that. I'll just, hey, how's it going? Hey, how you doing? This, that, and other talk, man, how's the weather, sports, this, that, and other. Because when I see another brother with lights, I'll say, hey, where you hail from? Or say little other things, and they'll tell me, well, I'm with, this lodge. I'm like, well, next when they say this, when they say a lodge, I'm like, what Grand Lodge? They don't say the Grand Lodge of that state or Prince Hall of that state, then I know that we don't recognize you whatsoever. But I'll still keep it simple. I'm not gonna just start throwing acid in your face. It's not cool. It's a lot of them in Michigan. I mean, some groups broke off from Prince Hall to start their own. I know one particular group started Modern Free Colored Masons, started in the South. And then one guy broke off from them and started International Modern Masons. I think it's International Masons, which they're probably the largest one. But I know some states they can't operate because they had judgments against them, something like that. I really don't know I know the details. I just be exact about the details, but it's a lot. It's a lot, and I will send you information on it, even a couple of podcasts on them. You like, whoa, really? Yeah.
Speaking of, you're way more media savvy than I am. I think you were the first one who mentioned some Masonic podcasts to me before. Are there any that you're listening to, or where do you go to get Masonic information that you suggest people go check out?
I know there is the hold on, let me pull it up here because I got him saved here because I follow him. Hold on a second here. There's one on Prince Hall that I like. Pull it up here. To give you the exact name here. Oh, where can I find it? Well, there's one called Masonic Roundtable. Those guys are great. And then the Prince Hall one is, hold on, Prince Hall. A second here. Table. I want to get the right name for you here, which for some reason, Prince Hall Think Tank. They pretty much will go over everything for you, like as far as how Prince Hall started. It would actually talk about clandestine Masons. They have like so many podcasts. I mean, you learn a lot about Prince Hall Masonry. But the Masonic Roundtable, that's the first one I saw, and they actually talked about Prince Hall. They actually talk about co-masonry too. They actually brought somebody, a female Mason, on, and they actually had a whole conversation and everything with her. And the funny thing is, when we brought that up in Lodge once, we don't recognize them, but England said that they're clandestine, but their work is regular. And this is on the United Grand Lodge England website, but they don't come any lodge meetings or at all. It's just that they like, hey, your work is good, but you're clandestine, you're women, you can't come in here.
Yeah. It's how do you see, or do you think Masonry is going to change in the coming years? How do you see it changing? I think that has to be, we talked a lot about, for 2020 seems like this year, everything, there's so much going on. How do you think the pandemic is going to change Masonry? Just all the different things going on in the world right now. Do you see Masonry changing? You talked about co-Masonry, the rise in that.
I don't know. That one, I'm like, I don't know. I mean, anything can happen.
I'm in the same boat. It feels like nobody really knows how it's going to play out, how people will be coming back to lodge, social distancing. Is there going to be new rules about the number of people you can have at a lodge meeting? Like it's
exactly. So that's what I'm like. Okay, so we're only gonna have like 8 people or 10 people in a lodge at once, and then what? You're a Mason and you just gotta go home and study, and we'll have 1 or 2 people teach you this, and then you can come to one meeting once every other. I mean, how's that gonna work? I don't. That's yeah. That's
it's definitely, I guess it's exciting to think about. It's kind of scary too at the same time. Or at least I know I'm pretty nervous about where it's going to go and how things are going to look. But
wow.
The fun part about being alive, right, is you get to deal with all this stuff.
This is some other stuff right here. Like ooh boy. Oh man. Yeah, so I mean, since my travels in Masonry, this one, yeah. Because I know I became a Mason in 2013. Yeah, I think it's 2013. Hold on, let me think. 2013. Yes, it was 2013 because that was the year I started at Comcast. So it's going on. Yeah, 2013 because I actually became a Master Mason. Hold on, in September 2017. No, 2014. Yeah, because I got it in my book here.
Nice.
Yeah, because this is the ritual book. I'm not gonna open that up, but but yeah. So I mean, that's a good question. You're probably gonna have me thinking for a while after this call here. like what's going to happen next? Like, are we going
volcanoes, killer moths, Godzilla? Like, based on 2020, anything's possible.
Yeah,
I feel bad for the guys who are, in Harmony Lodge. We had a couple applicants waiting to be initiated, so they're just stuck on hold right now too, right? They didn't.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
feel bad for them, kind of stuck in this limbo of waiting to get this.
This is the thing. I'm more worried about what's really going to happen with us. Period. Like, and you got to think about the Masonic Temple in general. Like, there's a lot of events there. What about the weddings and all that stuff? Like, how's that going to, pan out as well? And wow, they need to hurry up and get something going because I want my life to go back as normal.
I agree. No, I worry about that too. There's only so many. For any building, it's concerning, but because it's the Masonic Temple and it's a place I love, yeah, you worry about things like weddings being canceled and events being canceled, and will people go back to having big weddings and big events, or will they go to just smaller, city hall weddings or whatever it is? It's interesting to say the least, but hopefully people can find a way to get back to normal sooner rather than later. Right. I mean, my guess is, I have no idea, but my guess is September, the government, at a certain point, it just stops being, people are already ignoring social distancing rules so much, right? You see it all the time. At a certain point, I don't know if there's any benefit really in maintaining the illusion, right? People have been breaking the rules since the rules have started, really.
Yeah, everybody's on this, it's conspiracy for the government. I'm like, oh gosh, here you go with this conspiracy stuff. So
I definitely don't think it's a conspiracy.
I know people that had it, got it now, and have died from it. It's not a conspiracy. It's not.
No, I definitely don't think.
However, that's coming from us, that we're supposed to be the biggest conspiracy theory group ever. So,
well, that is one thing I never understood is Masons who talk about conspiracy theories. They'll float something about this group or that group, but meanwhile, like, half the population floats shit about Masons. So it seems very like, if anybody should know the danger of conspiracy theories. And
my goodness. Hey, listen, all I know is somebody said I had secret powers and I could shoot thunders out my hands or something. I'm like, man, that is not true. Like, what?
Well, you can when you're a worshipful master, just so you know.
Oh, I can't wait.
Once you make it to the east, brother, once you make it to the east, you'll get to be, we'll give you those secrets.
Oh, okay. That's what I'm talking about right there. I can't wait.
The thing about like conspiracies is it's always the next level up, is how they do it. So when I joined Masonry, people were like, well, you're brand new to Masonry, but once you're a master Mason, that's when you'll learn. Then I become a master Mason, and it's like, well, you're not an officer yet. Once you're an officer, then you'll learn. Then I become worshipful master, and it's like, but that's not the real inner circle. And it's like every time you advance, the conspiracy theory is always like, well, it's the next level up is the thing. That inner circle, you never quite reach it. And it could be because there is no inner circle. Or it could be that I'm still waiting to get there. Because if we are taking over the world, I would like to be part of it, please. Let this be a message of bring me in. Be hopeful.
That's when I would be the secretary of being head of the guys to take over the world. I would sit there and take the notes, and yeah.
You and me, Dewaun, we can do it. We should start the inner circle.
Yeah, why not?
Anybody watching this, put a comment down below. You can join us too. We'll get this going.
Oh yeah, yes indeed, yes indeed. Oh yeah. True enough.
But do you've got a family? Speaking of. Do your kids ask you questions about masonry? Do you talk to them at all about it?
No, not yet. No, no, they haven't yet. They're not really at the age to really think about that. I know, uh, no, they're not really at that age yet to think about it. I know my daughter, who's my oldest, she lives in Arizona. I think it was something came up about being an Eastern Star, but that was, a few years back. But I don't think she has interested in that right now. So not really, no.
Yeah, I didn't talk to my dad much about it, though I did kind of grow up in it because we had Christmas parties and things like that I would go to, or sitting down in the Legion while my dad had his meeting upstairs, stuff like that.
Oh yeah. I know. But the time I think about when I was probably like 12, 13, I remember my grandfather was looking in his book and he was like, yeah, I'm thinking about getting my son, my uncle, because my other uncle was a Mason too. He was like, yeah, I'm gonna get him this because he's a Mason. And I was like, oh, okay. And I really didn't question it because it was like always kind of around me, but I never questioned about it when I was younger because it was like, okay. My grandfather used to have all type of meetings in the basement. It wasn't masonry, so it was just like meetings were boring, because he was he had a PhD. He was a university professor. He was a, educator, and then he was always investment this, investment that, this, that, and other. When I was younger, it was like, okay, whatever. I'm more worried about my wrestling action figures and.
Well, with that, I will say, eventually, who knows when, but we'll be back at Lodge, and I'm looking forward to coming back and getting more of your cooking, and maybe I'll have a sip of your
coffee beer.
Your coffee flavored beer. A sip won't kill me, and I love coffee, so.
Yeah, a sip won't kill you. Yeah. Just enjoy it, just pour it a little in the glass and then give the bottle to somebody else, or just take the bottle and down it, or whatever you want, or just take it with you. And
is it going to be the same labels?
It's going to be labeled, but I'm going to do a little different label this time. I'm going to design something a little different.
I'm going to see if I can't grab a picture of one of the labels. I think we still got a couple bottles.
Yeah, it should be. I remember there was a couple bottles in the cabinet over there. I remember there was a couple empty ones.
So, I was very, I thought it was really cool when I learned you're a Mason, and I was very happy when you affiliated with Windsor Lodge.
Oh, yes. Windsor Lodge is great. I don't, it's guys are wonderful there. Made me feel at home and just like relax. Like, yeah, I like this. I miss Livonia because I haven't been there in a while. I see them on Zoom calls. It's great. I know Livonia is doing a blood drive soon.
Yes, and those are important nowadays too. With if ever there's a time that people needed to make sure there was a steady supply of blood available, it's during a pandemic. So if you can donate, we talked about that. Actually, we had a podcast about that, about blood donations, and Masons have always been great about donating blood. So if you can donate, make sure you.
And I know one thing I want to, when Lodge open back up, I want to see Windsor 403, us more in the community, helping the community, doing things around the community. We can actually even put on fundraisers. In a fundraiser event, get somebody who's a guitar, music, and comedian. Even get Squeaky Wheels back out and y'all do y'all show together. That was great.
I just saw him yesterday, actually, passing by on the street. I haven't talked to Squeaky Wheels for so long, but it'd be great to do some stuff in the community.
Yeah, man, I want to do like tons of stuff, especially for the community, man. We definitely need to get out and do more stuff for the community, so they'll see, hey, wow, these guys are doing great things. Yes, we are.
I agree completely, and once I always say, the master says it, and then you do it. So once you're master, just give me the word, give us the word, and we'll support you, because it'd be great to be in the community.
Oh yes, indeed. I can't wait. Trust me. And then what I also want to plan, if we do the baseball, I want to see everybody in the Windsor Temple, the whole entire Grand Lodge of Canada, Providence, Ontario, well, the Providence, Ontario, well, I said it wrong. Grand Lodge of Canada, Providence, Ontario versus Prince Hall, Windsor.
That'd be great.
Yes, in the baseball game.
Are you going to be okay, though, for that?
Why wouldn't I be?
Because I remember you, who else was it? Jason? I remember a few guys, I think Rage, complaining about how sore they were for days and days afterwards. I do recall some people saying that they were feeling the baseball for a couple weeks after the fact. So.
Oh God. I was in pain for a week straight, but you know what? It was worth it because it was so much fun.
So hopefully, I'd love to see that. I'd love to see Windsor versus Windsor Masonic Temple versus Windsor Prince Hall, or even maybe get the Americans over, have Windsor versus Detroit or versus Livonia, if you think you get the Livonia guys to come out. But then who'd you play for? That's the question.
Ooh, it ain't where you're from, it's where you at.
So take that, Livonia. we got you on our side.
I mean, I'm just saying, it's like, I mean, I live here, so I mean, if I was still a member here and lived there, it'd be like, hey, sorry, Windsor, but I'm in Windsor, so it's like I can't. I still got to go home and go to sleep. So I mean,
well, you've heard
from Windsor, like, hey, you sold us out, so
you've heard it here first. Livonia Lodge and or Prince Hall Lodge, the challenge is laid down.
Yeah.
One is going to start doing some push-ups. I'll start doing some push-ups. We'll get ourselves ready. We got your master in about 2 years. We got 2 years to.
Oh yeah.
To get ourselves ready.
Oh yes, indeed. So
but that would be that's definitely a highlight for me of the Masonic career so far is the softball game 2 years ago. It was a great turnout and everybody had a lot of fun. Last year's turnout not so much, just I don't know what timing or how it worked out, but 2 years ago it was great. So just get yourself ready, stretch, don't hurt yourself.
Oh yeah, I gotta lose about 20 pounds and I should be okay.
You got 2 years. The honor of Windsor Lodge rests on your shoulders.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Well, thank you so much for being part of the podcast.
Thank you for having me.
Keep yourself safe. Keep yourself, quarantined and all that stuff till they let you get out.
Yeah.
Yeah. I look forward to being able to sit, in Lodge with you in person as opposed to doing everything virtually. That's for sure.
Okay. Yes, indeed. It was great seeing you. Thank you for having me. You be safe too, and see y'all, everybody.